morning, everybody. My name is Winnie.
My name is Tianxiang.
And I'm Quan.
We are CooKool team, and our slogan is "We are eating well and we are doing good." So, this is CooKool roadmap, which we will take you through next 20 minutes. And I want to tell you about the story how I come up with the idea of CooKool. Before that, I have a question. How many people in here, at least one time, feel struggling when you look at the ingredient you have in your fridge and then don't know what to cook? Oh, lots of people, really. Yeah, I suffer from the same problem. Like during the winter break, I intend to cook for myself, and when I look up the recipe on the internet, I realize that I lack of some ingredients, and I cannot think new recipe without the missing things. I also feel it was challenging for me to think new recipe every single day. Then I eat out. I eat Domino pizza, which near our college, which is cheap, quick, and convenient. And processed food save my time, but it's bad for my health. It's the fact. And I keep eating it during the winter break till the last day of the winter break, when I open my fridge again and I realized, oh, I have some ingredient that was going to expire. At this time, I wish if I have an app that recommend me the recipe based exactly on what I have on my fridge right now, then I can utilize all of them instead of throwing them away. And it is how the initial idea of CooKool came into my mind.
And so we've all gone through that experience when we open the fridge and just gaze painfully for 20 seconds thinking about what to eat. That there is inconvenience in cooking. Ideally, we would want to have our brains work as computers that automatically keeps a category of all the ingredients we have and all the potential recipes that we can connect. So that right there is the inconvenience in cooking. So that has two serious implications. The first one comes to the health problem. So starting with not knowing what to cook and how to cook, that directly leads to, as Winnie stated, eating more fast food, more processed food, or more frozen food. And all of those things are packed with fat and carbs and sugar, directly leads to a much higher risk in having health problems such as obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure. All of these happen to rank very high in the United States compared to the rest of the world. You know what else ranks really high in the United States? The healthcare expenses. The United States is famous for having expensive healthcare, and that, with the increased health problem risks, the healthcare becomes a much likely burden for the common people. And especially when you're in that low income level, this becomes kind of even a life-threatening. It's going to could potentially destroy your life. And with that, you can go back to with the bad healthcare. Then you would create this vicious cycle. You're going back and forth. Because of the bad economic conditions, you go back to eating more unhealthy food, leading to a vicious cycle. And the second one would be, the second implication of the inconvenience in cooking is the food waste problem. So nobody goes into a supermarket and buy $20 of groceries and thinking, I'm only buying all of these groceries so I can throw some of them at the end of next week. That sounds kind of insane. So, and according to the stats from the National Resource Defense Council, people in the United States waste $165 billion worth of food every year, and that transferring to each household is $2,200 for each household per year. To think about what you can do with that $2,000, and that comes to amount is 35 million tons of food wasted each year. And even though with that huge amount of food that we waste, still 1 out of 7 people in this country rely on food banks. And as you can see, food waste in America has grown for over 20% since 1960s and 50% since 1990s.
So CooKool is created with the mission that we can solve all the problems above. But before I talk about our product CooKool, I want to remind you how the normal recipe app works. You look up the recipe on the app and plan what to buy. Go to the grocery shop, grab all of things, then come back to your home and cook. Using CooKool, you have a different cooking experience. All you need to do is input the ingredients you have in your house. You can tap in or you can use barcode scanning. It's up to you. The next time you cook, CooKool will provide you automated recipe recommendation based exactly on what you have, your dietary preference, and also the dietary needs. And our main service, automated recipe recommendation, encourage people to use as many as possible ingredients they have instead of buying more and more. And with the data people input, CooKool also notified them about the expiration date of the ingredient, and the recipe we recommend will prioritize the ingredient which is going to expire. So we want to make sure our user can utilize all the food before it goes bad. Besides the main service and the expiration date tracking, CooKool have three main additional functions. Firstly, nutrition tracking. You know how many calories you intake, the nutrition information. And secondly, food donation. If you cannot utilize all of your food, you can find the food pantry near you through CooKool app, then donate your food. You will join hands to help other people in need. And our third function is nutritionist connection. Instead of making an appointment with a nutritionist and driving to their office, you can stay at home, make an online appointment with them, and with your flexible schedule. So this image is how our main service automates recipe recommendation work. Our recipe provide exactly based on the ingredient people have, the matching percentage of the recipe and the ingredients. And then CooKool aim to help our user eating well and doing good. Let's talk about our competitors. CooKool have three main competitors: Big Oven, Yumly, and Blue Apron. Big Oven and Yumly are two recipe recommendation apps which have more than 200,000 recipes on their platform. While Big Oven have the grocery shopping list, which based on whatever recipe you choose, Yumly allow you to get your ingredient only 1 hour after you order it online. So both of the app, Big Oven and Yumly, make the progress of buying ingredients easier for users, so they encourage people to buy more and more before cooking. Blue Apron, a national delivery app which provides you both ingredients and also the detailed recipe, and also they encourage users to buy more and more. So what makes CooKool become unique and different from our three main competitors? CooKool is an one-stop ingredient management app which we focus on the ingredient people have in their house. And then we encourage people to utilize all of their ingredients instead of spending more money to buy more food. And then like our slogan, our goal is help users eating well and doing good.
So social impact targets the two problems, health problem and the food waste problem. So this is the problem slide we showed you earlier. So how are we going to use CooKool to break this vicious cycle? So instead of not knowing what to cook, we have CooKool providing healthy cooking recipes based on preferences, and that makes cooking easy and enjoyable. That leads to a healthier lifestyle with much lower risk of the previous diseases directly caused by unhealthy diet. And with that, the expensive healthcare would have much lower burden, much less possibility of burdening your life. So in that sense, you maintain a healthy lifestyle that's going to impact your whole life. There's no more important habits than your everyday eating habits. So now coming to the food waste problem. So before using CooKool, you would expect to, for each person in the household, expect to waste 300 pounds per year, and that the cost comes to $2,200. But after using CooKool, we expect to save you more than 50% of the food for each individual, and that transferring to cost is $1,000 and 450 pounds. And that could mean that you can buy a brand new iPhone for one of your family members. Who wouldn't like that?
Now I will talk about the market. CooKool focuses on people from many demographics and culture. It doesn't matter who you are. But we focus on the older generation, go all the way up to the millennial. We will use famous websites like Facebook, Food52, and YouTube be your main platform for promotion. There will be ad on Facebook specifically target strong active user, home cook, and food lover, so that they can be noticed of our app. They will also be using influencer and another way to draw in and attract millennials to start cooking and using our app. We will also have the benefit of word of mouth. by giving people 10 premium recipes for every 5 people they recommend, they will be able to get more customers in. That's not all. Additionally, we will have the health campaign, which is effortless health. We will be able to connect people with each other and create a healthy platform to raising awareness. From that, we directly connect back to our app, which is giving people healthy options to eat. At the same time, make them more awareness of the health.
Now coming to our key revenue assumptions for our financial projections. Our ad revenue is calculated by daily revenue, and our daily ad revenue is $78.4 per day. That is based on 500 daily active users, transferring to 1,000 sessions, 20 minutes per session, 2 ads per minute, and effective cost per 1,000 view is $2.8. For a nutritionist consultation, the average price would be $100 per session, and we're going to take some commission from the money that the nutritionists earn. In the first session, we're going to take 25% because we serve the essential tool of building that connection. As for the follow-up sessions, in order to maintain loyalty and prevent cheating, we're going to only charge 8% to sustain a long-term platform. Now coming to our main startup, these 3 are our main startup expenses. 48% goes to app development, is $14,400, and $9,000, coming to 30%, goes to advertising and promotion, and 19%, which is $5,780, goes to legal and administrative costs. And talking about our revenue stream, we have 3 main sources of revenue: advertisement, premium conversion subscription, and average nutritionist commission. And advertisement cost is our main revenue source, will be calculated through 365 days per year and multiply the daily ad revenue. Our premium version subscription will plan to sell in the first year 200 units, and average price per unit is $24. That transferring to monthly would be $2 per month in exchange for 2 premium recipes based on recommended recipes. An average nutritionist commission will plan to sell 120 sessions in our first year, and average price is $100. So talking about percentage of the revenue composition, 59% goes to advertisement, 16% comes from premium subscription, and 25% comes from nutritionist commission. Now, deducting the cost of goods sold, we'll have our gross profit growth. As you can see, starting from year 3, we're going to start to see fast growth in our gross profit. But then, if you look at the net profit trend, which deducts the operating expenses, we're going to see the first 3 years is very flat, because we try to reinvest as much as cash as possible back into marketing, and app development, in order to maintain a solid market base, as solid as possible, and also ensure good user experience. But starting from year 4, we start to see significantly positive net profit trend. Finally, looking at the cash flow projection, at the very bottom, you can see the ending cash balance. First 3 years are relatively low, and starting from year 4 to year 5, we will have much more cash at our disposal.
In the near future, we hope to bring all of our customers more convenient. We will have receipt reader. We'll be able for you to, as customer, to be able to get all your information in your phone with just a snapshot instead of going through and typing everything in again. There will also be digital retail store that are becoming more realistic and beneficial. They can be, so now people can walk into the store, get everything they need, walk out without going to the register or anything. By partnering up with them, now you don't even need to lift a finger. We will have all that data into the app without anything.
So now talking about our management team. So the first and one of the very important qualifications is that we all cook.
And I'm Uyen Nguyen, I'm Chief Executive Officer. I have experience when I found and be president of 3 non-profit organizations, 2 national summer projects, and I am the head of marketing of one education organization in Singapore called CooKool Singapore. So every year, I bring my team together and empower my teammates, and we will develop our app to make more benefits to our community.
And I'm Tianxiang Tan, Chief Financial Officer and Chief Information Officer for CooKool. So I study global management with a finance concentration. I've took all the high-level finance courses and have more than 50 hours of experience of financial planning and corporate valuation. And having interned at multiple industries, my most recent internship is at Daimler Mercedes-Benz, and that is the 17th biggest company globally. I was in the China headquarters with the chief information officer. At there, I was able to observe how this 500 people department maintains more than 50 apps and softwares, and what kind of strategy fits the current need the most to help the business digitalize. So therefore, I'm experienced in IT strategy and financial planning. And since I'm talking about qualifications, I was interviewing with Alibaba and ByteDance just a few days earlier. Out of all the qualifications that I mentioned to them, the thing that interested them most is actually the CooKool idea. They're asking how this idea would work, and they said, wow, good idea. And naturally, taking 20 minutes out of 25 minutes of the interview is about CooKool, and I went past all 3 rounds of interviews so far.
So I'm Quan, and I'm a CMO and COO of this operation, and I'm a marketing major. So I have studied some courses that can help me promote these products into the market successfully. At the same time, I have an intern as PP Oil. It's the biggest oil company in Vietnam. So when I was intern in Vietnam, I was working with the BOD, the board of directors, for 3 months. And during that time, I've been able to learn how they operate their corporate and how they treat employees and everything. From that, I learned, and I can help promote this operation go as far as it can be.
So then again, we're eating well and we're doing good.